I'm doing another. I'm doing another shipment. These are all books and CDs that I picked up yesterday. Today's Wednesday, so picked them up Tuesday. And there are 23 items. So it's a small shipment, but I just want to talk about how, for me, it's become important to get things out of the house. I used to wait until I had 100 or so, 80, 100 plus books and items before I would ship it out. And the whole shipping process would take a lot longer, and I'd have many sheets. I have many sheets of labels to go through, and the stuff would sit in my house for a week or two, sometimes longer. I just didn't realize how important it was to ship it out sooner, as well as by sending smaller shipments, it would all go to one warehouse, or at least it has for me. I have one sheet here. It's only 23 items, so I can just go to one sheet. I don't have to go look through a bunch of them. That's really convenient for me. It's been one of the most convenient things. So just grab a CD, book, whatever it is, take a look for it on here. There it is. Take it off. Usually use two hands. And just slap it on. All ready to go. Pretty elementary stuff, basic stuff. I prefer to have smaller shipments for a few reasons. That it's quicker to ship. My stuff gets to the warehouse quicker. And also, I'm not sourcing every day. I'm sourcing typically 3 days a week. Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Starting in a few weeks, I'll be sourcing 4 days a week, which will be awesome for me. But nonetheless, so when I source on Tuesday, and I'm not going to source again until Friday, even again until Thursday, let's say, I can send this stuff out either Wednesday or Thursday, drop it in the mail, depending on how much time I have to do it. Because today's Wednesday, so I'll drop this in the mail today. And then it can be in the warehouse, hopefully by Thursday, because this is in-state, one warehouse for me. So that's a big deal, just to get it there. Whether it's back to school time or not, any time of the year, I just want the stuff in the warehouse. It's not going to sell, it's not going to make money unless I send it in. So smaller shipments more often, I highly recommend. If you're doing a lot of bulk, if you're full-time or you're part-time, but you're sending in 200-300 books a week, I can understand possibly doing larger shipments, but you could still do multiple shipments in a day, smaller shipments, if you're trying to get to one warehouse. But some people don't care if it goes to 2 or 3 warehouses if they're sending 200 or 300 books in. So it just varies, but this works for me. For me, consistent shipments are the most important when it comes to sending an inventory and building up your inventory, is that you do it every week, week in and week out, even if they're smaller shipments. Even if they're 23 item shipments like the one that I'm sending out today, or if they're 100 item shipments, it doesn't matter, just as long as you send them in consistently. I like to source and then list in the same day. If it's too late or if I have other things going on, then I'll try to do it the next day, but at least within one, hopefully not even 2 days, but within about 24 hours, I like to list it and ship it out, because there's no point in those items sitting in my house, because it's common sense to get to the warehouse to sell and make money and make your money back, especially. If I were starting out, I would, instead of sending large shipments, I would send more frequent, smaller shipments. When I first started, I was sending over 100 item shipments, and I changed that up through the process of learning, through doing the business. So if you try out to find where you can hopefully get one warehouse, and then you stay under that number. If it's 25 items, 24 items, 49 items like me, 35 items, 70 items, whatever it is, you can play around with it. When you're inside listing and then you add an item, you can go through a couple of clicks there to get to the point where it'll tell you which warehouse it's going to and whether or not it's going to split the shipment. And then you can always hit back to go back a couple more to add more items to your shipment if it's going to one warehouse and you want to keep going to see where the cutoff point is. So it's worth that effort and time just to figure that out, because it's a little bit easier to have one box, one sheet of paper, whatever it is, depending on how many, 2 sheets of paper, and one warehouse, than having to deal with going to 2 warehouses and which one does this go to? I have to look on the computer screen, and that's, for me, that was one of the parts I hated the worst. So now that I do smaller shipments, then I can go to one warehouse, so it's much easier and simpler for me. This is stuff that you find out as you go along. The shipping process can be, depending on how you like it or whether you like the process, can be a pain in the butt. Just figuring out what works best for you, the kind of flow. Some people use Inventory Lab and other types of third-party software. If you're using Seller Central, which you probably are if you just started, just find out what works for you, what works best. And it can be a time consideration, but also just what is less stressful or less tedious. Because, doing these different processes, sourcing, listing, shipping, repricing, etc. Some of us prefer one aspect of it than over the other, of course. So when you're doing the processes that you don't like as much, you want to figure out what works best for you that makes it less boring or less tedious, less monotonous, that sort of thing. So if you can find smaller boxes, then that's great. So you don't have to cut down a larger box to resize it to fit a smaller shipment. You can get them, you can buy them, but also you can find them a lot of times in various dumpsters behind certain stores like Michael's or not supermarkets, but some other big box stores, maybe a Target, maybe a Walmart, depends on how they have it set up. But that's an option, buy it or not. Or maybe at work, maybe you have some smaller boxes that you get, you can take those home and use those. Maybe someone in your household at their job, whatever it is, your friends maybe, try to keep within your network and see if you can find somebody that has a supply of boxes. And it's good to have different sizes. As always, remember, keep booking.